To follow on from the post the other day on pronation, I thought I'd go through a few exercises that I like to use to improve pronation. So first things first, you always want to make sure taking off your shoes when you're doing these exercises so that you can actually feel the movement through the foot. Depending on the cushioning in the shoe, it might be hard to feel this. So the first exercise that I like to use is just a bit of a twist on your standard ankle mobility exercise. So the way that most people would set up is just coming down and pushing that knee as far over their foot, over their toes as they can. What we're going to do when we're focusing on the pronation is grab something like a lifting strap or roll up a sock, place it underneath your midfoot, and then as we're pushing that knee over the toe, we're focusing on keeping that heavy heel pressure on the outside of the foot, and letting that knee go towards the big toe, and really pushing my arch flat down into the strap. The strap's going to be giving me feedback of whether I am creating pressure there, and then once you get better at that, you can reduce how much of the strap you're using, and then it's going to be a bit more of a challenge to try create more pressure down. So moving up from the half kneeling position, I then like to go to a standing position where we're able to get more weight over our foot. It's going to make it easier to put pressure into the ground because pronation is going to occur mostly during our mid stance of gait. So getting into staggered stance position, I'm going to start with a negative shin angle, focusing on, again, that heavy heel pressure on the outside of my foot. And then as I'm letting that knee go forward, I'm trying to press this inside part of my foot down towards the ground. Pressing that as flat as I can as I rock back, allowing that arch to reform so that I can push back into that position. So trying to get as much movement through that midfoot as I can, trying to think about lengthening out my foot and squashing it flat into the ground. So those first two exercises are fantastic from a mobility point of view and just creating general awareness around pronation. But then from there, we can use that gait cycle lens in our exercise selection and use exercises that are going to buy us mid-stance to try access that position. Again, the best way to do that is going to be doing it without shoes on so we can feel that foot movement into a firm surface rather than the spongy cushioning of the shoe. And an exercise that I like to use is step downs. So my weight's going to be over that leg. As I'm coming down, I'm focusing on pressing my foot flat into the box and then coming back up, trying to maintain that heavy heel pressure and pressure through the outside of my foot, allowing that knee to go a little bit towards the big toe. So we don't want that knee just darting in and that whole ankle rolling in. We want to keep that pressure on the outside, heavy pressure in the heel, and allow that knee to come a little bit over the big toe and then back up. And then last one for today is just split squats. So when we're executing a split squat to try bias a bit more into pronation, we're going to be focusing on, again, the heavy heel pressure in the outside of the foot. As we are going down and on the way back up, we're trying to push that midfoot as firm into the floor as possible. And to help this, we're going to try to keep a positive shin angle the whole time. So not going to be coming up fully straight. So it'll look something like this. So I'm going to start with that knee forward a little bit. I'm trying to keep pressure through my heel, outside of my foot, again, allowing that knee to go a bit towards the big toe. And then I'm just trying to squash that inside edge of my foot as firm into the ground as I can. And then from here, I'm going to keep that knee forward. And just keep squashing, keep squashing, keep squashing. And I'm not going to fully lock out at the top. So I'm just pressing that foot as firm into the ground as I can, keeping that heavy heel pressure while keeping that positive shin angle.